Ah, time to take another trip down memory lane when I had that little cafe on the road to nowhere. And I was Dave, chef to the stars. Though I had gone down in quality a little bit, and I was Dave, chef to YouTube stars. One day, Shuan Head came into my establishment and asked for spaghetti bake. I said, okay. So the first thing I did was got a heavy pot, got some oil in it, and got that oil heating up over medium heat. And the first thing I did was get a pound of ground lamb into my pot. And then add a pound of Italian sausage. Mild or hot, your choice. And then basically you want to cook these, breaking them up as they go until they're done. Then drain the meat and return the pot to the heat. Okay, now this recipe is kind of shot funky, but this is what happens when you start a spaghetti bake after your Taiwanese serving boy named Lulu brings you 7 beers before you begin. All right, so I drained the meat, deglazed the pan with red wine, added 2 28-ounce cans of tomato sauce. Then I added a tablespoon of Italian herbs, a teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of basil, a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, a half a teaspoon of thyme, a quarter teaspoon to a half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and then a half a teaspoon of fennel. And I'm going to give this a stir around. And then let all the flavors meld together. And then I'm going to add a bay leaf to this. And then I'm just going to slowly simmer this over a low heat for about, 20 to 30 minutes. You can go longer if you want. Just make sure you keep tasting this and adjust seasoning as it simmers. Oh, and of course, this goes without saying, don't forget salt and pepper, of course. And if it is a little too acidic for you, you can go ahead and add a pinch, like a quarter of a teaspoon of sugar, and it should take care of either the acidity or the kind of tinniness of the cans if you pick that up in yours. Okay, after about 10 minutes or so of simmering, time to add the meat back into the sauce, give it a stir, and once again, let everything simmer for, again, at least 10 more minutes, up to 20 more. And again, you can go longer if you want, but that's my recommended time frame for what that's worth. And however long you want to simmer this for, the last, I'd say, 7 minutes or so, you're going to need to melt our final ingredient, which is 15 ounces of ricotta cheese. All right, there we are. And then you just kind of want to break this up and keep stirring it around and chop and breaking it up with a spoon just to make sure there's no large clumps of it or that it doesn't stick to the bottom and burn. And by now, you should have your pasta in the water. It's spaghetti in this case, takes about 10 minutes, but whatever the package directions say, take at least 1 minute off. Now, because you're doing a bake, you could even take 2 or 3 off. Because, you drain your pasta, it's in the colander, and it's still cooking. It's still radioactive hot. Unless you're making a potato salad or a pasta salad, never, ever, 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 ever rinse your pasta. Pasta salad is the one exception to the rule. So while it's still cooling down from being in boiling water, it's going to get the extra minute to cook. So always take 1 minute off. So yeah, just give this, like I said, about 7 minutes before you want to call your sauce good. Add some ricotta. And like I said, by now you should be having your pasta in the water. And you should also be preheating the oven to 450 degrees. Alrighty, the pasta's been drained. I should say I did break the spaghetti in half like I was making it for children. But it's a spaghetti bake. And then just want to give this a good old stir around. And then we're going to put it in our baking thing and get ready for the next step. That's some nice stirring right there. One important thing I did forget to mention is before you add the meat back to the sauce, take out the bay leaf. Sorry about that. Okay, now we're going to add our pasta sauce mix to our pan, or our 9x13 baking dish. And just kind of want to spread it out here. Make it as even as possible. And then cover with as much mozzarella cheese as is needed to basically coat the whole pasta bake. You'll need probably 2 bags, but I like it when things are extra cheesy. And then you're going to pop this into the oven for about 15-20 minutes, or until the cheese is golden brown, ooey gooey, and delicious. And that's all she wrote for the spaghetti bake. And when I went to serve this to Shu-On Head, I was expecting her to be screaming the works of Karl Marx to everyone else in the restaurant while spanking my waitstaff for not listening to Kami Mommy. Instead, she sat there very politely at the table, ate her food, and when she got up, she called us all fine, distinguished gentlemen and wished us a wonderful afternoon. So that's the story of Shu-On Head's baked spaghetti. Done.